Welcome. In this video, I will address the topic of whether or not it's a good idea to listen to music while doing a cognitively complex task, such as academic reading or writing a research paper. I've observed many students who listen to music while concentrating on their academic work. And I've often wondered whether or not they're not maybe more than just a little bit cognitively distracted by the music to which they're listening. I did a little bit of research to try to get a feel for what the experts think about this, and I'm going to share some of my findings with you. Let's get started. Here, I'm displaying my Zotero database so that I have ready access to annotations that I've taken from the PDF files that I read when preparing for this video. There is not consistent consensus among the researchers as to the degree to which background music affects one's reading ability or ability to concentrate on a cognitively complex task. There's a general move to argue that the music does have a negative effect, but I'm going to show you why the researchers are not clearly coming out and stating that music does have a negative effect on reading. Let's see what I found when I was doing my research. I'm going through the selection of articles that I read in no particular order. These are listed just in the order in which I most recently edited the entries in my Zotero database. Kampf and colleagues reported that background music does disturb the reading process and may have some detrimental effects on recall of information that has been read. Kim reported that while there was a positive effect on reading when classical music was played in the background, rock music and just silence had no significant effect. Now, the classical music that was described is sometimes called the Mozart effect. Well, it's not the music that's called the Mozart effect. It's listening to Mozart can have an effect on cognition. But it seems the effect seems to be tied to not listening to the music at the time the reading is taking place, but the emotion that is created from listening to music prior to the reading activity. If the music places the participant in a positive mood, that can have a positive effect on the participant's ability to complete a cognitively challenging task, such as reading academic literature. So it's sometimes referred to as mood, sometimes referred to as arousal, meaning it has more to do with the music putting the participant in a positive attitude prior to conducting the cognitively complex task. Now, rock music and to some degree silence did have a negative effect, multiple researchers found, on Stroop performance. Now, Stroop is a test in which participants are asked to name a color that is printed verbally on the instrument. For and printed in a color different than the color that is named. For example, red text that says the word blue, or black text that says the word yellow. And then the participants are asked to respond with either what is the color of the text or what is the color named in the verbal description. And playing of rock music had a negative effect on participants' ability to accurately name the color using its verbal identification when played in the background. Classical music, on the other hand, tended to have a positive effect, meaning it helped the participants do better on the task of naming the color that was printed in a color other than that which was named. Let me show you an example. If you look at this group of words in set D, the word red is printed in blue letters, the word green in green letters, blue in red letters. So some of these words match the color that is being named, others don't. So the Stroop test evaluates how quickly people can respond to these cues when the colors are different than the word indicates. So the bottom line from Kim's research is that rock music has a negative effect on participants' ability to correctly name the word when the color varies. However, classical music has a positive effect, although the effect was very minor. Schellenberg reported that listening to music or singing can positively affect performance on cognitively complex tasks. However, the music or the singing must be listened to or practiced prior to taking the test. And again, Schellenberg found that it's likely, the positive effect is likely to be caused by a change in attitude, putting the participant in a better mood, which then made the participant perform better on the cognitive task. Mamarella and colleagues reported that classical music significantly increased working memory performance compared to silence. These researchers did not address other types of music other than classical music, but did find that there was a positive association with listening to classical music as background music, not as active foreground music, while conducting a cognitively complex task. But again, they reported that they judge this effect is due to an improvement in mood rather than a direct effect of hearing the music and conducting the cognitively complex task. The remainder of these articles reported very complementary findings, and I'll include a list of these articles in the description to this video. What I learned from this brief research exercise is that there is not consensus among the researchers regarding the effect that background music can have on someone conducting a cognitively complex task. My bias is that I've observed students who listen to music while studying tend not to be my highest performing students. Each of my best performing students I've never observed listening to music, either in the library or during in-class study sessions. Okay, it's anecdotal data, and I don't know if my bias aligns with the findings in the empirical literature. But I can't firmly state that listening to music is necessarily or even frequently bad for cognitive performance on complicated tasks. I'm going to keep this in the back of my mind and research it further. If I learn anything more definitive, I'll be sure to share it in a future video. In the meantime, I have a favor to ask of you. How do you study? Do you listen to music when you're studying? And if you do listen to music, is it instrumental music or is it vocal music? I did find a bit of interesting data that showed a negative correlation with vocal music and the ability to process and memorize verbal information. So I'm interested in, how do you study? What have you found best for yourself? And I have another request. If you have a question that you would like me to address in a future video, please post it down in the comments section of this video. I'll do my best to conduct some research and offer you a reasonable response. Until we meet in a future video, I wish you the absolute best in all of your academic work. Bye for now. What did you think of that, Mika? Did you like that? Are you going to send me your questions? What? You can't think of any questions? Come on. You're a good dog. You can do it. All right. Well, if you can't think of anything, yeah, I know you're thinking. You just forgot how to speak. But that's okay. I love you.